All right, good evening, everybody. Welcome to our last session for this summer term of Business 330, Business Finance. A couple of administrative tasks before I get started. I have about a 15-minute mini lecture on the California Best Trucks case. But before I get to that, I have posted 2 grades today to your Blackboard. I have posted assignment number 4. Those grades and the solutions are posted in Blackboard. And also I posted your class participation grade. Now here's how the class participation grade works. It's worth about 10% of your course grade, and it's based on 2 things. You're coming to class on Tuesday nights. If you do have an excuse, that doesn't hurt you. But if you had more than 4 excuses, that hurts you. And if you didn't show up without an excuse, that hurts you. The second part of the class participation grade is, even though many times I did not ask it, your participation in class. Were you active? Did you ask questions? Were you engaged? Did I ever see you? Did I ever hear from you? That played a little bit into the class participation grade. If any of you have any personal questions about that, you can feel free to contact me and I will explain your class participation grade. But that's basically how I went about it. It's your attendance in class and your engagement in class. And the combination of those was the class participation grade out of 100 that I posted today. So now, heading into these last 5 days of our class, or 5 days of our class, you know what your cumulative grade point average is heading into this weekend. And you have 2 grades, both roughly a combination of 1/3 of the grade of your course. 1/3 of your grade of your course remains. So you can take a look at your cumulative average and go from there. Okay? So that's where we stand. Again, some of you have already completed it, and I thank you. Remember, if you want to get your grade by next week, next Friday, after you post it over the weekend, you have until Wednesday the 19th to do a course evaluation. And if you do that course evaluation, all your grades will be shown by Friday the 21st. If you've already done the evaluation and you post all your grades or your work, I will probably get your grade to you quicker. But again, if you do not opt out not to do the course evaluation, that's okay. You'll still get your course grade. It'll have no effect on your grade. You just won't see it when you go to Blackboard. And you won't see the cumulative percentage average in Blackboard either. Those will be all blacked out, and you'll just have to wait for the registrar to post your grade in about 10 days to a week. That's my Professor Hassey version of blackmail to get you to do your evaluation. So that's the administrative things as we have going forward. Many of you have sent me your files to review for the California Trucks case. You can do so still if you'd like to. And I've gotten back, I think, to everybody. If you have any last questions, please feel free to do so. I will not review your case paper. If you send me a draft of your paper, I will not comment on that at all. And just to remind you, I'm looking for 2 files posted to your Blackboard. One, a paper file of your APA format paper in either PDF or Word format, and your spreadsheet file showing the calculations of your WAC, showing the calculations of your base analysis for the two engines, the LA engine and the California engine. So you should have one spreadsheet, at least 3 tabs. Some of you will have a 4th tab, probably showing me how you calculated the warranty. That's fine. Make sure you give me a spreadsheet. If you give me a PDF, 20 points will be marked off as providing me your answers for the spreadsheet. Make sure it's a spreadsheet. Okay. Secondly, in regards to the posting of the work, make sure, and I see this on some of the files that I'm reviewing the last couple of weeks about the analysis, make sure when you submit to me your final spreadsheet, it doesn't look like the template that I've given you in class. No other files or tabs that say chapter 8 or chapter 9, no spreadsheet steps of the capital budget analysis. It should just show your work, nobody else's. Not my work, just your work. Clean your spreadsheet before you submit it. In regards to cleaning your spreadsheet, make sure I see no pennies, no decimal points for dollars. I see some of your spreadsheets that have decimal points for dollars. Whole dollars, please. For the IRR, for the profitability index, for the year's payback, yes, I want to see decimals to the 100th decimal point. That's 2 decimal point places. No whole numbers for IRR, profitability, and payback. Now, a couple of things about the paper. Your job in the paper is to take your number crunching, your analysis that you've all been doing, and relate that to the 6 questions on page 2 and 3 of your case. Now, your number crunching has to do with questions 2 through 6. Question 1 is just as important as the other 2 through 6. Because question 1 is telling me your opinion, your ranking of importance of why California Best Trucks Incorporated is doing this anyways. Mr. Livingston is asking for your opinion on whether these 2 products are reasonable return in the market existing today to invest $1 billion in. And even more than $1 billion when you're talking about the training costs, you're talking about the working capital needs. It's quite a substantial investment. Why are they willing to spend $1 billion plus dollars? There's got to be some type of market out there, as indicated in the case, that warrants them to do this and do this strategy. I need you to comment on the importance of that energy cost situation in their strategy. Just don't give me a sentence that says, oh yes, Mr. Hasse, energy is important. They should go ahead and do these products. That's not a business administration student. Show a little research, show a little effort in determining why is California Best Trucks case or company doing this strategy. What's leading them for you to do this analysis in your spreadsheet? That's important. So do not take question number 1 lightly. Okay. That's my little spiel on getting ready for your posting of the work. At the same time this week, you have that final examination, which outlines a couple of key points of our course and of the last few weeks of our course. Do not forget the portfolio ranking and assessment as of Friday, August 14th, at the close of the market. You need to update your portfolio and the index indicators, the Dow, the S&P 500, and the NASDAQ, as of Friday, August 14th, to update that. And you show it to me in a spreadsheet file, not a PDF file, not pasted to a Word doc file, a spreadsheet file. Throughout our course, I have given you samples, even of the last assignment or the last time we did this portfolio a couple weeks ago. You have hard copies of spreadsheets that you can relate to if you're having a difficult time showing a spreadsheet. If you do not give me a spreadsheet for that portfolio, that's about 15% of your grade on that examination that will be none and void. So remember that, please. Please. So tonight I leave the rest of our class available to, and I'm recording this session, by the way, so you can go back to it. I'll answer your question, Catherine, in just a moment. Thank you. That's a good question. If you do have questions and you feel that you don't want to show yourself or turn on your microphone, you can send me chat questions and I will answer them. But the questions should concern itself with the California Best Trucks case, the WAC, and the capital budget analysis, and any questions you have of the examination. All right, and the first question I've gotten from Catherine, thank you. Do we add to our original portfolio? I don't really understand that question. You adjust your original portfolio to the prices of your stock as of August 14th, 2020. So throughout our term, you've done updates to that portfolio over the course of time. You're going to do one more update and determine your return in dollars and percent, and the percentage change in the market indexes since the original portfolio, not the last time you did this, going back to June when we started all this, your original portfolio, that's what your return calculations will be based on in your final spreadsheet. So how you all want to set it up, Catherine, is I would think the best way to do it is just add to the portfolio you've already done, or just make sure you have your original $100,000 there and then have August 14th there so I can see the gains and adjustments over the course of the period of our class, so I can determine our Wolf of Wall Street. Thank you, Catherine. Good question.
So don't include the July
well, you
2nd.
can include it if you want, but I'm not going to look at it.
Okay.
I'm looking at your original and August 14th. I stand ready for your questions. At the same time, I just want to let you guys know, for the sake of public knowledge, I'm multitasking this evening. The Tampa Bay Columbus Blue Jackets Stanley Cup playoff game is in its 5th overtime, ladies and gentlemen. If anybody's a hockey fan, you got to be understanding 5 overtimes. They're playing now basically 3 games in one night. That is on my computer screen as I am helping you. That's just for the sake of public transparency that is going on at the same time. Okay. Any questions from the audience? Oh, we have a chat question. Hang on. Question 21 on the examinations. Dustin writes, yes, question 21, did you better the markets? Did your return in percent, was it higher than the return in percent of the Dow, the S&P, and the NASDAQ? That's, did you better the markets? So if your return, your change in your portfolio was 5%, and the Dow went up 3%, the S&P 500 went up 4%, and the NASDAQ went up 10%, which is probably going to be close to the case, you would say, I beat the Dow and the S&P, but I did not beat the NASDAQ in my portfolio for this time period. That's what I'm looking for, Dustin, with that question. Good question, thank you.
I have a question.
Please, Anita.
You said that you wanted us to cite you or use you as a reference if we asked you a question, or if you
That's
helped
correct.
us.
You don't have to do that in this session tonight, but if you sent your file to me over the last 2 to 3 weeks, and I have commented on it and sent it back to you with comments, you have to cite that as a reference in your paper.
Okay,
Mr. Hassey reviewed my work during the course of the period of time. And I've kept track of that, so I'll be looking for that in your references. So don't forget to put that in if I have helped you or commented on. Now, the review session tonight is not a reference material. That's a regular class. But if you have sent additional work to me via the email, then you have to cite that as a reference. And that's what I would like.
Okay.
So now Dustin is asking me another chat question. Do you watch the games using Mirror? No, Dustin, I have another monitor at my desk right next to this monitor, and that's how I'm watching the game. Even though if you do look behind me, you will see the game as well, but I have it straight in front of my mug here on my desktop.
I have a question, Professor.
Veronica, talk to me.
The 6 questions you want us to answer for issues and analysis, these are the questions we're answering in the actual paper we're writing, correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
So in the flow of the paper writing, you need to answer those questions. I would prefer them not to be in like an outline format. Put them in a flow of your writing, and however you see fit, but I would like to see that in that sort of way. But yes, Veronica, you're answering those 6 questions in your paper. You're not having anything to do with those questions in your spreadsheet.
Thank you.
Sure.
Professor, I have a question that kind of piggybacks off of Veronica with what she was asking there. For the 6 questions, I was reading the deliverables and you mentioned to have a heading for each question, questions 1 through 6. Questions 4, 5, and 6 kind of seem similar to me though, because 4 is discussing your decision, 5 sounds like supporting evidence, and then 6 is like your recommendation. Is it possible to just kind of put that in its own section, but to answer
That's fine.
Okay.
That's fine, Candace. And the Tampa Bay Lightning have just scored a 5th overtime goal, just for any of you bettors out there from Vegas, has just won the game in overtime, Tampa Bay. Okay. Now we're going to switch over and watch the Boston Bruins play the Carolina Hurricanes. Yes, I have no life. Okay. So Candace, yes, to specifically answer your question, yes, you can group those all together into one analysis. And also I urge you, while on that same subject, is I do not want you to cut and paste your spreadsheet into your paper. What I do want you to do, if you find some way in your writing to maybe cut and paste a summary, a little summary table of the net present values and the returns of the 2 projects side by side, or some way of highlighting those into one little table and paste that into your writing would be kind of nifty and very good to do. But I do not want to see in your paper all of a sudden massive columns that can only be read by a nuclear microscope to read about your work. Try to incorporate, if you do want to do that, incorporate small little a table highlighting your numbers in your work.
Okay, got that, thank you. And then for the second question, it's asking about projects' cash flows. Second part says, what assumptions did you use? Are you just asking how we came to the conclusion of what the cash flows are for each engine?
Well, you said, well, first of all, oh God, I gotta watch this. I can't tell you this, answer this too specifically.
Just use specifics.
No, you guys are business students. Figure it out. Not to sound rude. Listen, you're determining. So, what are the project's cash flow, Mr. Hatsey? The project cash flows for 20 years total $500 million. That was arrived at by taking the revenue per the inputs provided by the company, subtracting out the variable cost and the fixed cost and the depreciable cost, taking out the taxes to determine net income, and then blah, 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 blah. That's what I'm looking for, an explanation of what you did. Yes, a lot of you are using templates and all that stuff. I want you to relay that to me briefly in what it all represents and means. Make sense?
Yes.
Good.
Thank you. And then lastly, for the references, I know you said not to cite this class session here, but what about last Saturday's review
Don't worry
session?
about that either.
Okay.
Only when you send me an email or you specifically set an appointment with me to talk about the case. If it was during class designated hours, don't worry about that.
Okay. Thank you.
Professor,
Yes.
for the our portfolio that we made from the beginning, like what do we have to do with that to close it out?
As it says in question 21, you determine the ending valuation as of Friday, August 14th for your stocks. And once you determine those ending stock prices, you do the arithmetic to determine the total return in dollars of your portfolio, and thus calculate the net change from your very first portfolio, which was $100,000, to give me the dollar amount of the change and that dollar amount in a percentage. Then you do the same for the three indexes, determine the percentage change in the three indexes from your original portfolio back in June and the percentage change in those indexes. How does your portfolio delta percentage compare to the indexes in the portfolio?
Okay.
Again, in the last time we did this a couple weeks ago, I submitted my portfolio as an update, as a solution. You should refer to that if you're a little bit shaky on how to present it.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
Good question, Carl. While there's a break in the action, I want to make sure that per our last class, I mentioned to everybody that going forward in the Laverne program and going forward once you graduate from the Laverne program, please feel free to keep in touch with me if you need any recommendation letters, information. Sign into my LinkedIn account for any updates in the markets, be it job markets, financial markets, that kind of stuff. Please feel free to keep in touch with me for any information you need or help you need of any kind, because I will always stand ready to help you if you need any advice or work or help going forward, even though you're no longer maybe a Laverne student and have graduated.
I have another question, Professor.
Yes, Veronica.
If we already sent you our spreadsheet and we wanted just to have it checked one more time, can we send it again?
Oh, sure.
Okay.
You can do that right up to Sunday night at midnight.
Okay, thank you.
I don't know how much I'll be around by midnight, but we'll see. Thank you, Christine. You guys can sign off anytime you like, but you also can hang out here and wait for a question. Or it's okay, whatever your schedule allows, it's fine. More than happy to hang out here with you and wait for questions.
Professor, in what file did you save that template that you did for those portfolios?
Well, Carl, I would think if you go to the solutions, hang on, I'll double check that, just a sec.
Because, okay.
Hang on.
Okay.
Sorry, my computer's very slow.
Okay.
Maybe because I have the hockey game on. Just a sec. Oh, there it is. Okay, now it's up. Carl, if you go to the discussion forum in week number 4,
Okay.
The last time you updated portfolios, if you go
Yes.
in there, you'll see my updated portfolio with the file.
I see it. Okay, perfect.
You can download that. It was hiding behind way at the bottom, so I moved it up so you can see it easier. So you can just go there and you'll see that file located in that file folder that you can download. Okay,
Okay, thank you.
that's a
I
good
was
question.
there,
Thank
but I didn't see.
Yeah, well, it was at the way at the bottom and on another page. And if there's 2 pages there, and if you're not aware of that, it's way at the back. So I just brought it up to the front so you can see it.
Perfect. Thank you, Professor.
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Blair. Take care. Well, what I meant by that, Layla asked this question on the chat. Professor, you mentioned that our spreadsheet for the California can't be copied from the last ones that we originally did with you. Can you clear that up for me? Well, what do I mean by, in other words, no, you can use those templates, Layla, but I don't want to see any remnants of the template in that file. In other words, in that file, I had a tab for chapter 8. I had a listing of capital budget steps. I have little other things. It should only be the work of the California Best Trucks case in that file. So there's no problem in you using that file, just clean it up. And the only thing that I will see there is your analysis of California Best Trucks. There'll be no remnants of my originally work that I gave you. That's what I meant by that.
Okay, thank you, Professor, for clearing that out.
Does that make sense? Okay.
Professor, I'm not sure if you could answer this, but I'm stuck on one final part on the spreadsheet, which is affecting the rest of the spreadsheet.
Okay.
For the warranty, do I use the WAC to calculate that?
Well, that's your decision. Okay. You remember the question is saying you have to present value the flow of cash over 5 years into one number. What should you use? So basically there's 2 numbers you can use. You can use the WAC, which is the cost of capital, the cost of your money, or you can use the inflation rate. But if you use the inflation rate, how are you going to show those cost changes over that period of time? You can't use the inflation rate and then also use the inflation in your cash flow. So I just gave you too much information, but based on that, you probably know what I'm referring to about how you should go about doing that.
Okay.
Okay.
That helps. Thank you.
Thank you, Catherine. Appreciate it. You take care. We'll talk to you down the road. Okay. Good luck. Vince, everything okay with you?
Professor, yeah, it's going all right. I'm still working on my whack right now, and I either have a decimal out of place or I'm just calculating it incorrectly. So I'm working on that. That way I can figure out how I can ask you.
Yeah,
Where
we'll
it
work
is
on
I'm
it and
messing
then
up.
send me your calculations and I can review it.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
I'll do that.
Now I have another review session for my MBA finance class at 7:30 tonight. So if I don't get back to you tonight, I'll get back to you tomorrow morning.
Okay,
you
thank
send
you
it to
very
me
much,
this-
sir.
Okay.
Send you my WAP in the next couple of minutes, sir. And I know you have that review, so I'll just check my emails and touch base with you.
Very good, Vince. That sounds good.
All right. Thank you very much for a great course.
And I'll be available the rest of the week too, Vince, if once you start doing your analysis or whatever, okay?
Okay. Thank you very much.
All right.
All right. Take care.
Thanks, Professor.
Thank you, Ashley. You take care.
Thank you too.
All right, bye, Professor. Thank you. I learned a lot this term.
Okay. Thank you, Deanna. Thank you, Candace. Keep in touch.
Professor, like everyone else, just want to say thank you, and also thank you for those YouTube videos because they're very helpful to go back to.
Good. Thanks. Thanks a lot, Veronica. You take care.
Thank you.
Thank you, Maria, and thank you, Ben. Appreciate it.
Super quick question.
Yes, Anita.
Number 20 on the final exam,
Yes.
is that from chapter 19? It says that it's chapter 19, but it looks familiar. I don't remember us going over it in chapter 19. I thought it was from like,
It is from chapter 19, and I
Okay.
threw that in there because I wanted to see if you could sort it out.
okay,
The information is in chapter 19. No, we did not talk about this in class. I
Okay.
wanted to give you a little zinger there.
Okay.
See if you can work it out, okay? But
Okay,
it,
that
it is shown in the text how to go about doing that. And I threw that in there to see if you could sort it out, okay?
no, that's good. I'm glad I asked because I'm like going over everything. I'm like, I
Yeah.
don't remember doing this. Okay,
That's
that sounds
right.
good.
Okay, Anita.
All right, I'm going to be logging off. Thank you so much.
All right,
You
you
have a
take care.
great night, and thank you for
Thanks.
all your help.
Thanks, Anita.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Christine. You take care.
Well, I definitely don't have any more questions. Thank you so much, Professor. Like everybody said, the YouTube videos were great, and the explanations that you've been providing have been wonderful. So thank you.
Thank you, Erica. And did you sort out that in 3% the inflation and all that on your calculation? Did you know what I was talking about there?
Yeah, I thought you were talking about, but I'm still not sure if it's the PV formula or the NPV formula. So I ended up doing a warranty chart on the side.
Okay. All right. That sounds good.
So
All right. You take care.
I'm probably going to send it to you just because I'm
That's fine.
OCD on checking everything. But
That's fine. Go ahead, please.
thank you. Take care.
Okay. Bye-bye. Dustin, thank you. Take care of yourself, buddy.
Hey, Professor, thank you so much for everything. We appreciate everything you do for us.
Thanks, Layla. I'll talk to you down the road, okay?
Yeah, definitely. I'll keep in contact with you this week and see how my format looks. You can
That'd be
check it
good.
out.
I'll talk to you
Thank
then.
you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Good God, my hair is atrocious.